Hello guys, my name is NaToSaphiX and I'll be your host today for this play.gg video. Today we're going to be taking a look at this guy on your screen. Yeah, the guy on the right side of the screen. Snappi as an in-game leader and also ENCE as a team and how they approach the economical aspect of Counter-Strike. Enjoy.
What type of in-game leader are you?
I think I'm kind of like the old school in-game leader in the sense that I rather want to look bad myself in order for my teammates to thrive.
When picking out this demo, I thought an old school map with an old school in-game leader. That sounds like a match made in heaven. After winning the pistol, ENCE decide to full buy, which is obviously the completely normal and rational choice. Unfortunately, it ends up like this. Winning the pistol and losing the follow-up round is a nightmare scenario. You can either take an eco and let the opposing team get ahead both in terms of rounds and in terms of economy, or you could decide to buy back into the follow-up round and try to hit them where it really hurts. But for Snappi, that's not even a question.
But like people are looking a lot at the money situation, like as in, okay, we don't have money, we shouldn't buy. But I'm never looking at it like that. I come from a financial background, and I'm always looking at the stats. I rather want 2 rounds with 40% win rate than 1 round with 50 and one round with 5. And that might be why I don't do the textbook calling in terms of when we need to buy. I don't just do full Glock ecos a lot because I think there's also the thing about improving your percentage in order to win rounds later in the game by getting some tech 9s and armor and damaging the opponents in order to force them on eco later in the game.
That all seems to make perfect sense. Would you rather have 2 rounds with each 40% win rate or 1 round with 50 and 1 with 5? Well, obviously the choice would be 2 with 40. But if we assume that a buy round is a 50-50, is it fair to assume that a half buy is a 40-60? Well, for ENCE, it seems to be the case. Take this round for instance, the 3rd round in this half of play between ENCE and G2. ENCE go down by 2 men, and yet in this 3-on-5 they manage to somehow miraculously turn it around and actually win the round. Snappi himself said earlier that he is an old school type caller, and taking his age into consideration, that makes perfect sense. I picked out this round because it exactly shows an old school type of calling. Snappi will scout out some information and either find a free bomb site or a stack. If it's a free bomb site, his teammates will join him, and if it's a stack, his teammates will react and fast go to the other side of the map. Snappi does a great job at scouting out info and calls his team into a completely free bomb site. Now all they have to do is just win the 1-on-4 on the A bomb site with bigger weaponry. With just 2 players dead on the enemy team, Snappi's team is now left in a situation where again they have to consider if they want to buy or not. Once again, the decision to buy has been made, and Snappi's team gets yet another shot, and proving the 40% strategy is real. The round comes down to a 3 versus 2 situation, in which Alexi B will mop up Hades. Snappi, who is now spotted and stuck in connector, gets killed by Nico, leaving Dyha in a 1-on-2 with both CTs very low. Very much a 50-50 round, and they go into the next, the 21st round, in which they buy once again. The next round turns into a 2 versus 2 situation in which Hades gets the first kill. Now Alexi B thrust into a 1 versus 2, which should be more or less unwinnable. The only thing that could go well for Alexi B here is him checking Tetris. And he doesn't. For those who have already seen this round, they will know that Alexi B pop up with something magical here. He does get the defuse in time, and ENCE, with all their hard work, still failed to add to their tally. First there were 3 CTs, then there were 2, now there was 1. And with the consistent bomb plants coming in from ENCE, they can keep funding their addiction to buy. Unfortunately for ENCE, the round comes down to yet another clutch. yet another that they will lose. If you're left wondering what ENCE are gonna do now, you clearly haven't paid attention. ENCE are yet again going to buy up into this round against G2. The 23rd round is as close to a landslide win as can be. And yet, for ENCE, sneaking in those last 2 kills at the end of an unwinnable round makes it so that G2 still don't have great economy going into the coming round. G2 have at this point won 5 in a row, and yet their economy shows no sign of it. I would argue in Snappi's favor in this case. A lot of these rounds have seemed very 40%. If ENCE would have won just a single clutch or single round here, G2 would have been broke. Snappi's way of thinking economy is honestly a breath of fresh air. It makes for more entertaining games as every single round is close and no round is a freebie. Both teams buying into the rounds every single chance they get. But is it sustainable? Does it just make for entertaining games, or is this actually a potentially revolutionizing way of looking at economy? From watching this game, I'd say I think it actually could be. ENCE have barely won any T rounds in this half, and yet it seems like such a close game, because it is. It is a pretty all-in style of calling. It either works and you completely snowball and you win a lot of rounds on your T side, or you don't win any at all. This way of thinking of the economy is definitely something I'm gonna bring to my future teams. And I think if ENCE would have just won a single one of these rounds, the end result would have been very different. I have been NaToSaphiX for Play.gg. Thank you so much for watching the video.